Welcome everyone. MTL Sports Podcast. We're on episode 97, 3 away from 100. Doing pretty good. Had a good weekend. Lawrence, you had a good weekend?
Of course I did. UFC was generous.
Very generous. I heard you laid some golden eggs with your predictions last week. Hopefully you guys caught that. But if not, we might got some more for you, especially for these NBA finals, which is the topic for the day. Celtics, Mavs, series starts Thursday. We'll, do the usual predict the winners and how many games. Then we might sprinkle in some of the recaps from this weekend, UFC, UFL, some of that good stuff. So, with all that being said, please stay tuned. Let's kick it off. NBA Finals. 2024 finals. Last year we had Denver, Miami. We all know how that turned out. This year we got Dallas and we got Boston. Boston, were not there too long ago. I think, 2 years ago when they went against the Warriors and they
Mm-hmm.
lost in six. Mavs, it's been since 2011 when they played against the the Heatles in
Mm-hmm.
their first year together. Um, Boston's trying to hang banner 18. Dallas is trying to hang their second banner. They only been there. This is only their third time there because they lost the first time versus Miami in what, 06, 07, and then beat them the second time. So, um, yeah, it should be a good matchup. People are saying it's the probably one of the better matchups in a long time. I don't know about all of that. Um, Definitely should be high powered offense. Let's just pull it up and just get on with it. Uh, Boston, number one seed overall in the NBA. The best record this whole season, 64-18. Dallas were fifth in the West at 50 and 32. They really came on late when they made those trades for PJ Washington and stealing Big Gaffer from the Wizards, or not really stealing, just letting him free because he needed to be free after dealing with that horrible situation. But nothing near nor there. Um, we can take a look at some of these stats right here. Boston's pretty much first or second in a lot of statistical categories. First in point differential, first in offense, number two in defensive rating, net rating. Of course, then we number one. And then Dallas, their numbers are kind of skewed because they weren't doing so hot in the beginning, but I know their playoff numbers. They were, one of the top teams in defense going into the playoffs, and the offense has always been pretty good. So. Uh, you can see the odds right here, and the game one spread is 6.5. So Lawrence, I'm gonna let you kick it off first. Who's gonna be our NBA champ, and in how many games? Who do you got?
So when it was Dallas versus the Clippers, and I forgot what day it was, but I got Dallas at plus 550 to win the NBA championship. I
Mm.
took that odds, and I haven't looked back since. I've been pretty confident that it could hit this entire time as well. Um, I wish I would have had more confidence in myself when I placed it. It was only a $5 bet. It is what it is. But it's still, a chance to blossom with some change in the pocket.
Of
But
course.
anywho, I got Dallas. I think Dallas wins this. I think Dallas is just overall a better team down the stretch. Um, I think Dallas learned how to beat better teams than the Celtics did. The Celtics haven't played anybody. I mean, that's just the only. I don't know. That's the only issue I have when I look at Boston. Is like towards the end of the season, if we recall pretty well, like they were kind of disappointing. They weren't winning as much as we thought they would. They weren't performing like we thought they would. And the Mavs were the total opposite. They were performing way better than we thought they would. The Mavs have beaten some of the NBA's best to get to the point where they are, and well, Boston didn't have to play as many good teams. Um, and I kind of look at it on a different way. Is in big games, in big moments, in big games, you need someone to make plays and score points. And Tatum has this moniker of being, he goes ghost in those kind of moments. I think that's pretty much the opposite for Kyrie and Luka. And I think that's the whole reason why I'm going to take Dallas to win the whole thing. I'm going to stick by what I said in the group chat the other day, not too far back. It's probably not going to happen. Who cares? I got Dallas in 5.
Hot take
Drunk,
right there.
drunk thoughts have real meaning, you know?
Yeah, I agree with that one. I said it 2 weeks ago when we were talking about the Dallas and Minnesota series. I said, hey, I think Dallas is gonna beat Minnesota and then they're gonna go on and beat Boston. So I got Mavs over Celtics. Most likely it's gonna go 7 games, but I got them in 6. Booked it in the and, it's booked in the bets on FanDuel, ESPN Bet. I'm doubling down. I took I think it was either FanDuel or ESPN. I think it was FanDuel who had Denver or the Celtics with a field. They had 2 of those boosts, I think, for like back to back playoff rounds, like first round, second round. And I took the field both rounds at pretty good odds. So I just had a feeling that, I definitely didn't trust Denver after, losing too many. I mean, you lost their 2 key players, Bruce Brown and Jeff Green, and then the Celtics with the Porzingis injury. And then just overall, like you said, they don't play well down the stretch. They let teams crawl back into the game, and they get. I mean, when we look at the Pacers, like Pacers probably should have won at least, like guaranteed should have won like 2 games. They just had young guys who just can't close. That's not going to happen against these Dallas Mavericks. Like the game's within 5 points, 5 minutes down the stretch in the fourth. Luka and Kyrie going to close. Don't matter if it's home or away. Could be neutral site. They're going to come. They're going to close. So I got the Mavs in 6, and I think when it comes down to it's just they got two guys that can get you buckets in the clutch, and Tatum is like you said, Lawrence. Like he just goes ghost. Like this isn't Danny Phantom, bro. You ain't got to relive the cartoon show. They paid the big bucks for a reason. After this offseason, you're gonna be the highest paid player ever. You're gonna make more than your running man JB, who's getting 300 million. You're gonna probably get somewhere between 330, 340, maybe 350, depending on what the cap looks like. Millions of dollars. So we can't have you disappearing. He disappeared 2 years ago. Games 3 through 6, going against the Celtics. Jaylen Brown was the best player in that series. We can argue Jaylen Brown's been the best player throughout 3 rounds for the Celtics. With no KP, Derek White's kind of been here there. Same thing with Drew Holiday. Then we just gotta look at Porzingis. Like, is Porzingis really going to be effective? Look at Kevin Durant. He had a similar injury when his last run with the Warriors in 2019 when they went against the Raptors. Kevin Durant gets injured on a similar timeline in the second round, tries to come back in the finals. Think it was game 4 or game 5?
Mm-hmm.
Literally could only play 1 quarter before he tore his Achilles. And even before that, he just didn't look right. It was just by, just him being Kevin Durant that he was able to knock enough shots down to keep Golden State in that game. Porzingis isn't Kevin Durant. And he's even taller, so and bigger and lankier. So who's to say that his calf is going to be anywhere close to being effective? So I just have my doubts about that. Without a healthy Porzingis, I don't think Boston that stands a chance, but I don't think that they're gonna really have the means to test the Mavs because Porzingis can stretch the floor, sure. He would stretch Gafford out and then Gafford and Lively, so you wouldn't have any rim protection. But if Porzingis is just on one leg, you're just gonna attack him on the other end because he can't play defense. So it's like a catch. It's a catch 22. Yeah, he can stretch you out and shoot threes, but if this man's on one leg, 1.5 legs, and can't play defense, you're not gonna play him. So that's how I look at it, Lawrence. Do you think Porzingis is probably the X factor for the Celtics, whether he can play or not?
No, I don't think he's gonna. I think he'll play minimal minutes, and I think he'll be more of a burden than an aid, an assist.
Yeah.
I think they might move off of him. I think the biggest thing going into this matchup will be the PJ Washington and the Gafford. I just honestly think getting guys who are on bad teams and putting them on this like what's this be this awesome Mavs team. I mean, I think that was just a little bit of game changing for them. I mean, they have a chance to like kind of recreate their basketball careers right at this exact moment.
Mhm.
They were given a chance to get off bad teams. They can fight for good contracts in the future, like Bruce Brown, like last year's Nuggets. I mean, Bruce Brown went out and got himself a nice little bag. So PJ Washington, I mean, he's got to be looking at that the same way. I mean, he was effective in Charlotte. He just was constantly on a bad team that was never going to go anywhere. Now he's on a good team and he can prove what he's worth, and he can go get some money too. I mean, Gafford, I never thought he was bad with the Wizards. It's just the Wizards sucked. Um, and I think Gafford actually is a really good matchup in this game because Al Horford, he's a little older,
Mhm.
and Porzingis. I mean, if Porzingis even steps on that floor, I don't. He's not going to stop a Gafford moving full speed. And Gafford has just made effective shots. I mean, he's just been waiting in the paint for his name to be called whenever it comes up, and he's been effective. Um, I just think the biggest issue might stem from just somewhat Dallas's bench. Sometimes
Mhm.
they don't show up. Sometimes they don't come out. But then again, how much bench is going to be played in this NBA playoffs finals?
Yeah, you're right. The bench is it's there, but they don't really show out consistently. I mean, when we look at it, they got what?
Dude, Hardaway's been bad,
Yeah,
straight
he's been
up.
bad all playoffs. But I mean, there's been some emergence of Jaden Hardy. I think he's really emerged this playoffs. He's kind of reliable. Um, who else they got? Josh Green, I think, comes off the bench now. Maxi Kleba, I think he's back, but he didn't look good last game. I think they probably should move away from him. Dante Exum gives them some minutes, so they got guys, but like you said, they just not effective all the time. It's just mostly role players play better at home, so mostly for these home games they've been decent. But I mean, if you look at the Celtics bench, I mean they're better, I guess, because they got Hauser and Pritchard and uh who else comes off the bench for them? Um, they
Technically,
really don't play.
Horford.
I mean, Horford. I imagine he's probably going to start for Porzingis. I don't think Porzingis starts. We'll see about that. Um, Luke Cornett can give you decent minutes, but I don't think he's going to play at all. I think he's a liability. You just can't have some really tall guy just jumping up and acting like he's going to block your 3 point shot. I don't think that's going to work against these guys. They just going to knock down threes, um, whether he does that or not. So I don't think that's going to be too effective. But um, yeah, this really comes down to the stars, and you're going to need one X factor. For me, I think it's Porzingis. For the Celtics, for the Mavs, I think Kyrie has to show up consistently. Kyrie can't just, have some of the games he had last series where he might have only 20, or I think one game he might only have like 16 or something. Kyrie's going to have to probably average what, Lawrence? I'm thinking like 25 to 28. Luka's going to have to give you about 30, which he can do on his bum leg. He's dropping 32-point triple doubles on a bum leg, so I'm not too worried about him, but Kyrie definitely has to give you at least 26 to 28 at least. It has to be every game. Can't be just like if they go on 6 games, he can't give you that scoring output 3 of them. It has to be damn near all of them.
I don't know. I think the X factor will be Kyrie. I think he
Mm-hmm.
just has something he wants to give the Celtics fans.
I mean, there's some animosity there, right? His little tenure there didn't work out the way he wanted to. A little bit of immaturity on his part, but I think Boston fans are just they can be a little much, just like Philly fans. They can just be a little too much. So I understand both points of view. Um, but I guess another thing we gotta look at is Porzingis versus Luka. I know they don't like each other. They played with each other for what 2 3 years, 2 3 seasons. Didn't work out clearly, so they moved Porzingis over to DC for about a year, 2 years. Do we think that's gonna flare up at all? Is that even a thing? Especially if he's not gonna play. Like, do
No,
we
that ain't
even?
anything. Porzingis don't play.
Yeah.
He doesn't get on the court. He can't play. He can't start nothing.
And even if it does, I think he's probably gonna get cooked. Like Luka's personally gonna look for that man, switch on him, and just cook him. Like there's definitely some beef. And I think people at least on Twitter the past couple of days have been like kind of highlighting some of the stuff that they have. Some of the beef issues that they have. So I don't know. That should be interesting. Interesting. I know we gotta wait every 3 games still. So I think Thursday's the first game. Then we gotta wait 3 games in between each. So I think it's like Thursday. What? Thursday, Sunday, or Thursday, Monday, something like that. It's like a weird schedule for the finals. The one thing I hate is that you gotta wait so much in between just to watch the next game. But I guess they gotta milk it for what it is because after this, it's no more basketball unless you count the summer league. And I guess this year they got the Olympics, but it's not.
The only thing people are going to have to watch now that's basketball is WNBA, and let's face it, WNBA women can't even take something good. They take something good and they take it for granted.
And yeah, that's a whole nother conversation. I knew things kind of blew up today with starting with first take, and then I know people piss at Pat. So, any thoughts about that?
No, I haven't. I mean, I just think I think overall, like the WNBA, I think the women are just. I mean, the best way to put it are a little stupid and idiotic. I
Mm,
mean, you've been begging that people will watch your sport, and you've been begging and pleading and wanting this and that, and you want to get paid. And then you get a young star who actually can do that for you, and then all you want to do is just talk shit to her and push her
mm,
around and try to fight her during games, and it's just kind of sad. I mean, that's supposed to be you're supposed to like want help, like want more for the future of your sport. It's completely the opposite, though. They want to be in the Stone Age, and they want to stay in the Stone Age, and that's on them. I mean, their biggest thing is okay. We have a bunch of girls who are really talented in college. We want them to go play in the WNBA, but there's no teams to play on. There's no spots, so they just don't go anywhere. Okay, well, you want to expand the league. You gotta have draw into the league. I mean, the only she's the only one that's selling out stadiums. She's the only one that's selling tickets. No one else is selling tickets. And it
yeah,
and I don't understand like what the beef is. It's not because she's like a gorgeous girl or anything. She's average.
yeah. I agree with you. I think people just don't want to admit to the fact that she is the main focus of the whole thing. Yeah, the whole rookie class is really probably the most prominent ever, right? You got Andrew Reese, you got Cameron Brink, you got her, Caitlin Clark. Um, but I mean, they're like a 1x multiplier, maybe a two x multiplier. Caitlin Clark, bro, she's selling out arenas. They never been doing this stuff. So when she's, you know, on TV or she's coming to your city, chances are the game's gonna get sold out or damn near close. Is that happening when Angel Reese comes to town? No. Is that happening when Cameron Brink comes to town? No. Is that happening when Asia Wilson's coming to town? No. So, I mean, it is what it is. You just got called for what it is, man. And I think, like you said, you said it pretty good. Like, you think people would want, uh, the more success, the better. But it seems like, they they don't want it. They don't want to put all of the success on one person, which I get. They probably want some credit too, which we will give them. But I would say at least 80% goes to one person.
Yeah, but you
I
can't.
mean,
I mean, you can't get credit for something that you're doing if she's not bringing the attention to get for you to get that credit. That's just as simple as day. I mean, when people talk about WNBA, there's only like three names that ever come to people's minds. One of them's for a horrible reason, um, basically drugs overseas. The second one is Sue Bird because she's pretty much the LeBron James of, of all of the WNBA in previous history.
mm,
And I don't know, maybe the girl who played for, or the assistant coach for the San Antonio Spurs, and now the Vegas Aces coach.
Becky Hammond.
Yeah, Becky Hammond. I mean, outside of them, no one ever talks about any other women. No one's ever brought up any of the other women. I can't remember you guys ever getting this mad over Sue Bird. So what's the difference? I mean, that's literally the only names that come to mind. Now, I mean, I can name more women now that I've watched a little bit of WNBA because some of the betting lines are fun, but like you have to also understand like there's one way to grade your sport, and a grade of your sport, as sad as it is to say, you can't make parlays on WNBA games. They don't give you any options. They don't let you do that. So like it's not even like your sport has like an exciting league and there's a lot of stuff that can there's like money to be made like in betting wise. There's nothing. You can't parlay it. It's like you just have to pick a straight out winner and that's it. There's no parlaying because they don't let the women's line go up, or you have to bet on the women separate. I think on FanDuel you might be able to bet on their You might have a little bit more access to parlays, but on DraftKings and ESPN, which is the one I've been hanging out on, you can't. They keep giving out these like no sweat bets for the WNBA. Okay, but like you won't let me parlay anything. Like you won't let me sweat a bet. You just want me to take the Indiana Fever to win the game when they're a plus 14.5 underdog. Like I'm not gonna do that. I'm not that stupid.
Yeah, I guess that's one way to look at it. But yeah, I mean, like I said, it's one person that's doing most of the work to get the credit. Yeah, there's other people involved, but you think people would want to, the excitement, the I guess renewed interest in the game. You think people would be all over, but I'm not gonna say that these other players are hating. Some are, some aren't. It's pretty obvious at this point. But uh, also, I think this is yeah. No, I'll keep that. I'll keep that to myself. I keep that to myself. But uh, no matter the case, we got the NBA Finals on Thursday. In the meantime, there's some WNBA games going on. But I think that's all we got. That's all I wanted to cover for the finals. As far as what happened this weekend, do you want to recap the UFC fight? I know Poirier lost in 4.5 rounds. He got or he got submitted, right?
Yeah, I mean, it was fun when they fought with fisticuffs and they were punching each other. But I mean, if you look at the pictures of the fight, it was pretty obvious that Poirier was actually taking advantage of the fact when they stood up and fought. So he did what he always does in most fights: is take it to the ground and grapple. I mean, that's just the way he fights. It is what it is. I mean, Kevin Holland broke a guy's arm. Absolute banger. I had that to go TKO or submission. And when I watched Kevin Holland get rocked and fall to the ground, I was a little scared. I was praying. I was praying to little baby Jesus out there, and Kevin Holland worked some magic. Got that arm. The guy wouldn't tap out, so Kevin Holland just said, "All right," to his arm.
Oh,
But I had Miss Perez in the early prelims. She came out on top. I had Randy Rude Boy, or is it Randy Rude Boy Brown? I don't remember. I had Randy Brown. He came through for me. I had Jake Matthews. He came through for me. I did not take Almeida like I told you guys to. That's on me. I should have taken Almeida. I mean, it would have been a little bit nicer. I bet a separate bet on Roman to beat Caesar because I wanted to see the undefeatedness go down, and it did. He's now 5-1. I knew he wasn't that good to begin with, so it is what it is. But the main juiciness was Perez, Matthews, Kevin Holland, and Strickland. I think it was at plus 557, and that was a nice good one. I took Holland and Strickland just separate, just straight out. I think that was about minus 105. That was an easy one. I saw that one coming along far, far away. This Paulo Costa hype, I just can't understand it. Whenever you fight someone who's like generally good, he just gets beat up. So like I'm not really understanding like this hype train that they keep trying to like push him into main events and make him like a big name. He just loses when it matters against strong opponents. And then Sean Strickland, Kevin Holland jumped the fence and had to give old Daddy Trumpy a hug. Did not see that one coming.
Mm. Shit, I didn't watch it because the website was down, but yeah, I don't think I would have saw that one coming either. So, uh, all right, good, good. I wanted to watch the fight, but like I said, the website was down, wouldn't let me buy it. So, and the bar I was at didn't have it for whatever reason. So I was kind of upset about that. But I guess I'll catch 303. I
You
think
gotta go
that's
to you gotta go to Hooters.
Hooters. It sounds like it's the move next time. I think 303 McGregor is fighting right in 303.
Mm-hmm.
Alrighty, so I will definitely be able to catch that. Well, I'll put that on my calendar, I should say. A little bit of NFL news. If you haven't heard, Jay Jetta's got a new contract, 4 years. What 140, with 110 million in guaranteed money, highest non QB player in NFL history. Well deserved. Quarterback situation is a little funny, but regardless, if you're gonna get your bag, go get your bag, bro. Any thoughts, Lawrence?
I think you have to do what you have to do. He's the best wide receiver in the game. Um, it just proves that it's a new era of sport. And the kind of the new way to do it is get good O line, which has pretty much been the whole way the whole time. But the reason really needs to be stressed more. You get a good O line, and you just get a rookie quarterback because these rookie quarterbacks constantly come out pretty well, or cheap. You know, he fits the part, or a
Mm-hmm.
gunslinger. The whole Tom Brady era of quarterback, I think, is kind of gone. I don't think we're going to see many more of that. I think we're going to see people try to shift because all these other positional players need to be paid more. And I think that's going to be. I think that might be. I think that honestly might be some of the undoing of the sport, though. I think we're going to see a high of contracts, and I think we're going to see them slowly go down because people are going to start saying out loud, and as right what they should. These guys are just way overpaid.
Yeah, I mean, they probably got to spread the wealth a little bit more. I think they said that basically Jefferson's making double the max of a max running back's uh, salary, which is, if you think about it, is insane because the running back is your workhorse. He's doing way more than Jay Jettis is. Um, no matter what the running back is, I mean, shoot, the best running back should get. I mean, look at McCaffrey. He's catching passes and running. And his salary is one half of Jay Jettis. Like, I don't know about that one, Chief. But regardless, I think if you're a player, just go get whatever amount of money that these owners are willing to pay. Go get it. But I think they gotta, you know, whether that's the union or maybe the commission, maybe he can do something. I don't know if he even wants to, but they gotta spread the wealth better. Like you said, relying on rookie core QBs and their low salaries and relying on them to win you a Super Bowl is pretty slim to none. Pretty much only Pat Mahomes did it, and Joe Burrow went to Super Bowl on a rookie contract, but we don't really have any more examples of that. So the chances of people trying to repeat that formula is slim to none. So something's going to have to change soon, for sure.
Yeah.
And your team, Lawrence, gonna put some money into your 30-year-old stadium. How do you feel about this? Mr. Tepper's gonna contribute some dollars to fix. I don't even know if it's fixing, just renovating Bank of America Stadium. You guys gonna stay there for another 20 years. How you feel about that? I know you've been to the stadium a couple times, right?
I've actually never been.
Well, there's a team in Cincinnati that's coming there, and what a great time it would be to go there.
Um, I don't know about that, Chief. I don't know if I want to watch them get shoved in like that. That seems kind of brutal. Seems a little brutal. Um, no, I kind of would be down. I think it'd be fun, but I mean, I don't know. I kind of have a pet peeve with these owners and trying to make the city pay for things. And okay, but like, what do we get out of paying for something? I mean, obviously, I'm not from Charlotte or anything, but I mean, regardless, what do the people of Charlotte get out of paying $650 million to the stadium? I don't understand this. It's kind of like what the um, Chiefs owner was doing, and he wanted them to pay up. Was it like 13 or no 2 million? They wanted 2 billion. He wanted
Yeah,
like
it was
up to two
billions.
billions.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean this is a lot more, you know, a lot less of a money, a lot less. And I think he's gonna put over like almost triple that of his own money into fixing it. So I
Mhm.
get it. I get this one a lot more than the um, Chiefs one. The Chiefs one was like pretty much like almost 50-50. This one makes way more sense where he's going to cover about, if we looked at this in the grand scheme, he covers three-fourths, the city covers one-fourth. It's a little bit more doable.
Yeah, I agree. I don't um really see the point of these like billionaire, multi-billionaire owners asking cities to front most of the money. Doesn't make sense. Now, if it's like at least 50-50, I get that. But anything more than 50-50, I'm like, bro, you guys are making billions of dollars. How can you not afford? Just take out like, I don't know, you guys have access to capital, just make it happen. The Bengals, I think they did a good job. They did something similar where they fronted most of the money, and then I think Cincinnati might give them a little bit, but I think um, Cincinnati on the back end is going to contribute some, maybe for a new stadium in a couple years. So we'll see. I think the same thing is happening in with the Tennessee, right? The I think they're going 50-50 with the city. So as long as it's not like the city's fronting most of the bill, I feel like people don't have a problem.
Agreed.
Cool, cool. Other than that, I got nothing else. I think only other thing, Logan Thomas is apparently going to sign with I had it right here, the 49ers. I guess he's going to be like a backup to what's his name? Kittle. Um, and then Larry Allen, Hall of Fame Cowboys lineman passed away today unexpectedly. I watched some of his highlights, Lawrence. He is a freak. Like this man is huge, and I saw a highlight of him like chasing somebody down. I was like, damn, he should not be moving like that.
Mm. I mean, agreed. I mean, I think he had like one of the most reps in a bench press as well.
Yeah, I think he did like 225 like 50 times or something, maybe
Hmm.
even more than that. Uh, Freak of nature. And Mbappe is signing to Real Madrid. I know this is piss a lot of people off. Any thoughts about this, Lawrence? They will head on out.
I mean, Real Madrid is going to go back to being bad now. I think that's what it's going to do. I think he is a curse amongst club teams in which he plays for.
Interesting take. Um, don't watch too much soccer myself, but I guess this was really the big deal today. Other than that, guys, I think that's all we got for you. MTL Sports Podcast, episode 97. We'll be back on Wednesday talking. We'll probably preview game one and then catch up on our or I guess, season reviews and recaps and all that good stuff for NBA teams. So, with that being said, we're going to head on out. Have a good night, y'all. And we'll see you on Wednesday. Peace.